So first of all, my name is Kai. I'm the founder and CFO of this lab. So on the way here, I was told that this is the first TEDx talk in Xiamen, and I'm the first speaker, so I'm super honored to be the first one. Hopefully this will go well. So today, I'm here to talk about a few things about blockchain. So how many of you guys know about blockchain? Raise your hand. 就如果有听过区块链的，请举手。Okay. How many of you guys own Bitcoin? 如果有持有比特币的，请举手。Okay. All right. So a number of you, a little bit less. So first, let me do a quick sub-intro, and then I'll get into kind of the main topic of the day. So I was actually born in Fuzhou, so Fuji is my hometown. So it's good to be back. I moved to the States after first grade, and so while I can speak some Chinese, it's not great, especially if it's technical. And then, so I started trading when I was 15 years old. So I started investing in stocks, options, gold, futures, commodities, etc. And that's how I get into finance. So I worked in finance and consulting before starting kind of work in blockchain. So today I'm going to break down my talk into three main pieces. One, I'm going to highlight some parts of blockchain technology. Second, I want to mention a little bit about kind of blockchain in the fintech space. And then lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what we're doing at Olympus Labs. So if you ask 5 people what blockchain is, you're probably going to get like 20 or 30 different answers. And so instead of adding my own definition today, what I will do is I want to highlight kind of what I think the innovations that blockchain brings. So really 3 things for me. 1 is that it brings a trustless network. 2 is that it creates a global community. And lastly, it's a great equalizer in terms of economic impact. So on this first point about a trustless network, the idea is that we want to remove centers of authority, right? We want to remove middlemen. The idea that, for example, someone like Alibaba or Tencent controls kind of all the internet flow and all your data also means that they can do a lot of things that they shouldn't. On the way here, actually, in the car, I was listening to these this talk about these kind of data centers or these data companies who are selling your data. And there are all different ways of doing it so that it doesn't even look like they're doing it. For example, the owner, the founder might create another company in a different name, and then they would take data from this company, use that company to steal it, and then sell it through that company, but it's really the same person, right? And so this is why we want to create a world where there are no centers that can control your data and do whatever they want to do. So that's the first point. The second point being creating a global community to really solve global issues. I think we'll come to a point in human development where a lot of the issues are not going to be solved by an individual or an organization or even an entire country. Right? It really requires a collective might and brain power of us globally working together. And so what's really cool about blockchain and kind of the cryptocurrencies that come along with it is the fact that you're creating a community that's global, but also that cuts across different identities. So for example, your investor, right, who kind of launched your blockchain project is also going to be your users, because the fact that they invested, they're going to be, if you launch a product, they're going to be your first avid users who are going to go out in the world and spread your product, your message, and your mission. They're also going to be your employees, right, because everything happens on a decentralized, distributed manner. And so if this is someone that believes in your project and they're an engineer, they're a coder, they're a marketer, right, they're going to do things to help the project. And so where we used to have this divide of identities where someone's an investor, right, someone's a consumer, someone's an employee, and a lot of times these incentives are not completely aligned, right? For example, the investors want profit, but that at times comes at the cost of the consumers, right, the users. But now when the users are the investors, a lot of times the decisions are a lot easier to make in the sense that the decisions are the right decisions for the community and not just for the few. Right? So I think that's really powerful, where you have this blend of identities where everyone's coming together and saying, look, we really want this project to succeed in the long term, and I'm not here just for short-term profits. The last thing here about the highlight I want to mention is, it really is a great equalizer for wealth, right, and for economic disparity. If we look at capitalism, there are 3 main ingredients. 1 is capital, 2 is labor, 3 is land, and these 3 ingredients go into function, right, and then you have economic growth, you have productivity. Now, throughout history, capital has been controlled, in the hands of the few, the wealthy few, right, who can participate in projects early on, right, and then as a result, the wealth that comes from these projects, from these companies, flow back to the wealthy. So you have a cycle where the wealthy become wealthier, the poor become poorer, and there's greater and greater economic inequality. Now, with blockchain and cryptocurrencies, that's very different, because anyone in the world, no matter where you are or what your status is, you have the same opportunity to participate in the project in its very early stages, from day one, right? So you're kind of getting in, you're funding it, you're helping to create that wealth, and when that wealth is created, you also get the wealth to flow back to you. So that this game of having capital, creating more capital, isn't just reserved for the the rights of the wealthy few or the elite. It's open up for everyone, right? So those are the three things about blockchain that I really think is interesting. It's amazing. So that's the first part that I want to talk about today, is like the highlights or the cool things about blockchain. Aside from like what it is or what it brings, just kind of what are the interesting things that this blockchain technology would change in our world. Well, that's one. Now, because I'm working in blockchain finance, I want to talk a little bit about kind of blockchain finance. We've seen in the past few years, especially this year, that the value of cryptocurrencies has risen, exponentially, right? For better or worse. Some people say it's in a bubble. Some people say it's just the beginning. Some people say that tomorrow it will burst. Some people say that it's going to the moon. Whatever it might be. To me, that's not the interesting thing about this. It's not the important point. It's not about tomorrow's price or today's price, but what this means in the long term. So if we look at cryptocurrencies, the market cap is around 600 billion. Give or take, it's changing every single day. That might seem like a lot, right, compared to when it was like zero, a few years ago. But if we compare that to, let's say, any other asset class, it's nothing, right? I mean, a single company like Apple is worth like $700, $800 billion, right? So the entire market cap of this industry is smaller than a single company, which tells us that we're in the very early stages of this industry. And so, from a finance perspective, what I'm thinking is, in the next 3 to 5 or to 10 years, we really believe that cryptocurrency will become an asset class in the same way that real estate, fixed income, stocks are an asset class. If we look at it from that lens, this means that it's not unreasonable to believe this market will increase by 100-fold or more in the next 3 to 5 years. So this is tiny. This is like 1% today compared to where it will be in 5 years. And I mean, this is my projection. This is like what I think. So when that happens, what does it mean, right? A few things. One, it means that we will have a more diversified composition of global wealth, right? The fact that you have a whole new asset class entering into the space means that when you're looking at your investment portfolio, it's not just stocks, it's not just your house, it's also some cryptocurrencies. And as a result, you can diversify your risk more globally and across more asset classes. So if we look at it from a purely finance perspective, this means that at any given risk level, you're getting higher expected returns, right? Which is good for investors. So that's point one. The second point, and this point, this is the point that I really, really believe in, is about banking the unbanked, right? And so, I mean, I know here in China, I think everyone's on either WeChat Pay or Alipay, and mobile payments, it's widespread, and everything's super convenient. But that's not the case for the entire world. Even for some developed countries, you're still on credit card systems or cash systems. And for 1 billion of us in the world, you have no banks, right? You have no banking services whatsoever. And so what cryptocurrencies does is it allows, for example, cryptocurrency-based lending or wealth management products for people who do not have a bank at all. So you don't need to go to a bank or have a bank account to enjoy kind of financial products or financial services. I think that's going to be something that's really going to revolutionize the world in the next decade. And I think that's going to be powered by blockchain technology. So that's point number two. Point number three, this on a bigger level, is I believe that this technology will make the world kind of more interconnected from a few areas, right? So one, the fact that these projects are global in nature, right? A lot of these companies the founders come from many different fields, different countries, and they are working together on a single mission. But the fact that these guys are coming from different perspectives in different countries, a lot of times no one looks at it as, oh, you're from X country or from Y country. Everyone's like, we're part of this global community. I think that's what, from a psychological or social movement perspective, this is what blockchain brings, is that everyone who's committed to a project, they're committed to the mission. there's no racial or national or geographical barriers, right? You don't look at it as, oh, you're American, you're Chinese, you're Canadian. No one on these things are looking at people like that. I think that's going to be really powerful, kind of beyond blockchain technology, is the social movement that this technology will bring, to the world. And so that's one point, right? It's this like global nature and the fact that this will be more interconnected. The other point is that the capital flows will become more efficient. The fact that capital on blockchain can flow, at least today, relatively unhindered compared to kind of traditional capital, means that capital can then go to areas where it has a higher efficiency, right? And you're breaking down these kind of national geographical barriers for capital. And as a result, you have higher efficiency, and I think this will bring about this new engine of global growth in the next phase. So this is a portion on blockchain finance. I think is important. So one is kind of banking down banked. Two is a more integrated world, and three is having a new asset class and enter the finance world. Lastly, I want to spend kind of like 1 or 2 minutes just talking about what we're doing here at Olympus Labs, because I don't think how many of you guys have heard of Olympus Labs? Okay, like 0, or I don't know, just like a translation, but usually people Olympus Labs. Okay, perfect, great. This is why I'm here. This is why today is important. This is why today has value for us. Just kidding. So at Olympus Labs, what we're doing is we're creating a protocol for anyone to write and create financial products based on cryptocurrencies. So the same way that the 0x is a protocol for decentralized exchanges, we're the protocol for decentralized kind of financial products. So Lingtop, have you guys heard of this project, 0x? All right, this is probably not a blockchain crowd. That's what we're doing, and so we're kind of around this protocol. What we're building is an ecosystem of blockchain kind of fintech apps. Right, the idea is that with this protocol, you can then build applications on top, right? Things like lending products, things like options, futures, indexes, anything that you can think of. I mean, even things that we can think of. The idea is that we're opening this up to anyone who has an idea that they think will be important for the financial world. They can use this and create something for the world. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks for having me. And if you guys have any questions, you can talk to me kind of one-on-one after the event. Thank you.